Hey everyone, I'm Sarah and today we are doing crochet. Welcome to my stream. So I have a little bit of a new setup. I don't know if you noticed, but you're not seeing my door behind me anymore. Also, I'm going to be getting a new camera, so that may look a little bit different in my next stream. So we shall see. I'm just updating. So. And Crixano says, I actually completely forgot it was Pride Month. Yes, it is. And I forgot as well. So until something reminded me, I don't remember what it was. Amazon, maybe? I went somewhere. Amazon, Netflix, something like that. And it reminded me that it was Pride Month. So, yeah. So happy Pride Month, everyone. Woo! All right. So what we're going to be doing today is a little bit casual. There's not like... I'm just going to be teaching you some tricks, some different things that you might see in patterns, but also like a cool little trick that I didn't even put in the description. So it's a surprise. I got some new yarn today. I had to run to Walmart to get some water. And so while I was there, grabbed some new yarn. So I'm excited. It's very soft. It's very nice. But this is still regular size 4. All right, so notice what I've got here. This looks like a foundation chain plus a row of stitches, right? It's not. This is all the foundation. So what I'm going to do is show you, I'm going to teach you today how to make what's called a standing crochet. So standing crochet, double crochet, basically it's a chainless foundation. So if you don't want to have to do the chain and then crochet into the chain, I'm going to show you a little trick. Also here at the end, so when you start, you always do, your chain 3. That's what we've been doing so far, is we normally chain 3 and then start double crocheting across. Well, I'm going to show you how to do a standing double crochet so that it's a little thicker and it looks more like a double crochet. And when you go to crochet into it on the next line, it will look like the double crochet, so you're not trying to search for that chain. So, okay, so I'm going to undo this, and I'm going to show you how to do all of this. But this is what we're going to start with first. So this is the surprise, because I did not put this in my description. So the other things we're going to be discussing today are loops and posts. So I'm going to be showing you how to, like, if a pattern tells you to go into the front loop or the back loop, or it tells you to go into the front post or the back post, I'm going to show you what that means and the ending result. But first, we're going to learn standing crochet. So I've got my worsted weight or size 4 medium yarn. I've got a size 5 millimeter or an H hook. So the American term is the letter H, and everybody else says 5 millimeter. So I go by the millimeters. That's how I know mine. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, and of course we've always got a pair of scissors handy so that we can, cut the bits that we need to. All right, so we are going to do our slip knot first. So you cross it. So you just make like a little loop. Whichever side is on top, so this side is the side that's on top, you're going to make a little loop there, and you're going to come from under this loop that you made. So you're coming from underneath it. All right? So you grab that, then you're going to grab the tail and the working yarn. The working yarn is what's coming from the skein. This is the skein, by the way. And you've got a loop, and then you just pull up to that loop, and there you go. And that's a slip knot. All right, so we're going to go ahead and slip that on. We are going to chain 3. So 1, oops, and of course, I always pick the janky yarn. I don't know why. 1, 2, 3. All right, so you chain 3, and all a chain is, in case you forgot, or if you're just joining me for the first time, you've got your loop on here, you pinch it with your right hand. And by the way, everything, if you are left-handed, everything's exactly opposite. So if I say right hand, you do left hand. That's it. Or vice versa. So you pinch with your right thumb and forefinger. Yarn over, which means, and I always come from the back. So yarn over, which means to bring your yarn over. Trade pinches, so you're going to trade to the other hand. And then you're just going to pull that through. That's a chain. That's all it is. So yarn over, pull through. Yarn over, pull through. Okay, so we only want 3 of those. All right, now here's what we're going to do. So get ready like you're going to do your double crochet, which means you yarn over. In that very first chain, you're going to go in, yarn over again. Now this time, so you pull through. So we're ready. So normally if we were going to finish our double crochet, we would go through these 2. We'd end up with another one on and we go through the next 2, right? This time we're going to do, this is the magic, okay? This is what makes it work. You yarn over like you're getting ready to do the double crochet, but instead of going through 2, you just go through the first one. What that does is this creates something for you to go through next time, because remember we were able to go through our chain, our first on the chain. Well, this creates something for you to go through. Now you just do your double crochet like normal. So you yarn over, you pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the next 2. All right, so let's do that again. So you yarn over. We're going to go through that one that we just created. So it's this very last one right there on the end. And pull through. So now we have 3 on there. Yarn over and pull through just the first one. Just the first one. Now you're ready to do your regular double crochet. Pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the next 2. But see, what we've done is we're creating a base at the bottom. So you're essentially getting 2 rows in one. That's what's really cool about this one. All right, so let's do that again. We're going to go across a little bit. So go through that loop that you made at the bottom with that very first pull through just the one. So we're going to pull through just one. That creates our base there at the bottom. Then we're going to pull through 2 and pull through the next 2, just like that. And you can see it's creating a base at the bottom that goes across. So let's keep going across and do several of these. So we're going to go through that one that we created at the bottom and pull through like normal. We're going to only pull through 1, and then we're going to do our regular double crochet. Pull through 2, pull through 2. Pull through 1, and then pull through 2, pull through 2. So the main difference between this and a regular double crochet is just that we're going into the base of the double crochet and we're just pulling through 1 to create our next base for like the next time we need to go through a base. That's it. That's all we're doing differently. And then you double crochet like normal. It's really pretty cool. And in fact, I would normally do this for all of my crochet projects. But I wanted you guys to learn how to do it the quote-unquote correct way first. But like I said, you're getting 2 rows in one, and it really isn't that much slower. And you don't have to count your chains. So just pull through the first one. That creates your next base. Then pull through 2, pull through 2. So I'm yarning over, going through that base and pulling it through. Yarning over again, pull through just the first one to create the next base. And then do your regular double crochet, which is yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now let's see how many we have here. So these are your posts, by the way. Each one of these little things is a post. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've got 10. So I'm going to go to 15. So I'm going to do 5 more. By the way, you'll notice at the bottom of my screen, I've got my Discord right here, my Discord server information. You are welcome to join. You can share your crochet projects there. That's also where I put my reference photos and all of the art pictures and stuff for my drawing and painting classes that I do. So I already lost count. I think I just did 11, so I'm on 12 now. Don't forget to pull through that, just the one at the very beginning. That's the key. That's the magic right there. That magic stitch. Make sure to give myself some slack. I'm going to count because I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All right, so I did 13. So I was off. So I've got to do 2 more. Whenever I'm talking, I get off a little bit in crochet. Crochet is very meditative, and I think that part of it is because you can't really do a whole lot else. You've got to be mindful. Otherwise, you will lose track. But it's nice because, I mean, I can still, you know, sometimes put on like the radio or something in the background is nice. Okay, so I've got 15, and I'm going to stop. So I just finished what essentially was my chain stitch, and then my, you know, the double crochet into the chain. But remember how much a pain in the butt doing the chain, like crocheting into the chain is? This is way easier. So I would highly recommend doing this. Okay. So when you get to the end here, and you don't have to do 15, you can do however many you want. That was just the number I picked. I'm going to show you something called a standing double crochet. Now I only use these on the corners, but you can use them to change color if you want. I showed you how to change color last week, but this is just another way to do it. All right, so what you're going to do is, instead of normally we would do this, we would go 1, 2, 3, we would turn, and this would count as our first double crochet, and we would just go, we'd skip this first one and go into the next one. This time we're not going to do that. This time we're going to actually pull this to the size approximately of a double crochet. So you just pull it up. So all I'm doing is just pulling my loop up to about the size of a double crochet. Then I'm going to hold this close so you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm going to just twist it around, and I've got to hold it. Now the reason I've got to hold it is because if I let go, boop, it'll just fall. Okay, so I don't want that. So you twist it around and you hold it. So look, it looks like there's 2 on there. See how that does? It looks like there's 2 loops on there. All right. We're going to go into that first hole and pull through, still pretending that there's 2 loops on here. So we've got the loop we just pulled through plus the original 2. You're going to yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. Now you can let go because now it's hooked underneath that. And then you just pull through the next 2. Now it's not quite as pretty. It's not as pretty as your regular double crochet, but it's a lot thicker, and you end up not getting it. It doesn't look like it's turning. So I'm going to do that again. Oh, the stream keeps stopping and skipping on you. Uh-oh. I hope it's not some setting on my side. I haven't seen any dropped frames. I don't know. If you try hitting pause and then play, does that help? Because that Twitch changed a bunch of stuff recently, and I'm wondering if that could be part of it. But remember, I've had times before where I was paused. You guys told me I was paused, but it wasn't showing paused on my side. So it could be something going on my side. I hope not, because I can't tell. Like I said, I haven't seen any dropped frames. It says I've got 0 dropped frames. So I don't know. And my CPU is only at 30%, which isn't terrible. I found out recently, so apparently Google Chrome has extensions, right? And I don't know which extension it was. But one of my extensions was causing my Chrome to use like 70% of my CPU or something crazy. So I turned off all of my extensions except for like my extension manager, and then one which is like it's like a mouse gestures where I can right click on my mouse and make a gesture and it does things, you know, like for example, I right click and I go up, that opens a new tab. If I right click and go down, that closes the tab, you know, things like that. You know, if I make an L, that goes you know, to the tab to the right, you know, so forth and so on. So anyway, man, it's instant. Like my computer has stopped, my fans have stopped running so high. You know, so I have to figure out which Chrome extension it was, but keep that in mind that if for some reason every time you have Chrome on and it seems to be running really hot, or you know your CPU usage is going up, check one of your extensions, because some of the extensions use higher it uses more of your CPU. So that was a nice lesson learned that I've been dealing with for months. Okay, so Crixano says Twitch does this for other streams too. Okay, then yeah, it could be your internet for sure. Don't disable low latency, it skips a lot. Okay, good to know. I don't know if I have that disabled or not. All right, so I'm going to do this stitch again. I undid it. So you can go ahead and turn your work. So before we were like this. You can go ahead and turn your work. All right, so I'm going to do that again. So I pulled this up a little bit. I'm holding on to it. I'm holding on to the loop. I'm moving my finger so you can see, but I've got my thumb around it. And then I'm hooking it. I'm like looping it around itself. But because I'm holding this in place, it's making 2 loops. All right, then you go through and pull. Now it should look like I have 3 on there. In reality, this one here is just pulled around to the side, but it looks like I have 3 from this angle. So I'm gonna pull through the first 2, which isn't really 2, it's just 1, and then pull through the next 2. That's it. Oh, I see. It's a user setting. Okay. Well, good to know. Thank you. Oh, maybe I've seen that on other streams. I think I just didn't mess with it. But yeah, I'll make sure that it's not disabled. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and double crochet across. So now you've already gone into this first one. So you're just going to go into the second one. But I'm going to go ahead and get a good line of double crochet here so that we can start talking about loops and posts. So now you know how to do a chainless foundation. You know how to do a standing double crochet, which we'll continue practicing. You know, the one thing I like about the chainless foundation is that mine doesn't curl as much. Whenever I do a regular foundation chain, I find that my tension is a little off and it tends to curl a little bit. So that's another thing that's very handy for doing that. Like I said, when I'm crocheting, I normally do chainless foundation, but I wanted you guys to learn the proper way first, you know, the way that everybody knows, which is to do a foundation chain. So just a reminder, double crochet is yarn over, So you've got your loop on there. Yarn over, you go through your hole, which is right now, it's this little V. So see how there's several V's on here? You're going through the first V through both loops. That is a little foreshadowing, folks, because at some point you might not be going through both loops. You might be going through only one. You pull, I just lost what I was doing. Okay, yarn over, go through your loops, pull your yarn through. So now I've got 3 loops on here. Yarn over again, so now it looks like you've got 4. You're gonna pull through the first 2. Now I've only got 2 on there. Yarn over again, pull through the next 2. And that gives you your double crochet. So pull through the first 2, pull through the next 2. That's it. All right, so now we're going into our first chain, which was a chain. I don't know if you remember, but at the very beginning we just chained 3. Oh yes, because Crixano informed me that he had been going into only one of the V. So you've got this V here. Got that V. He was only going into one of them. Well, now I'm going to teach you about going into one of them. So here's what we've got. All right, so we're going to do our standing double crochet. So pull it up a little bit, hold it with your thumb, and loop it around so that you've got 2 on there. Let's go ahead and turn. Put it through the hole there, bring it, pull through the first 2, which the second one's not really one. It's not really a loop, but once you pull it through that, it hooks it in. All right. Now, let's talk about loops first. All right. So in knitting, you can just by switching up, you've got the knit stitch and the purl stitch. Those are your main stitches. One crochets on the, one knits on the front side, the other knits on the back side. So by using that, you can create ridges. So you'll notice that when you see ribbing, like say you have a sweater that's got cabling and ribbing in it, where it's got like, it looks like lines, but it's actually the knitting itself. That is what's used, is where the someone will basically knit several rows and then purl several rows and then knit several rows and then purl several rows, and that's going to end up giving you that it's going to give you that look, that ribbed look. So I'm going to show you how to do that in crochet. All right, so we're going to do our regular double crochet. So we're going to start with only the front loop. So what you would see this is, you would see it as FL, front loop, like in your pattern. You're going to go in, but instead of going through both of them, you're going to go through just the first part of the V. So I'm going to get this up close so you can see. So I've got my V here. Normally I would go through both. Okay. This time I'm going to go through just the front one. So see, the back V is still there. So we're going to go across doing just that. So regular double crochet, you pull through 2, pull through 2 more, but we're just going through the front loop. We're not going through both. So just to the front, okay? So let's do that all the way across. And I'll show you what to do on the other side. Because here's the thing, we're going to turn this, right? So what is the front now is going to be the back. So we're just going through the front loop. Now this creates a very mild ridge. You're going to see. It's not like a heavy cabling. When we get to post, that's what's going to create your heavy cabling. So still just going through the front. I have not changed or anything. I'm still just going through the front loop. This is also handy because it helps you, it can help you, I'm trying to think of the word. For some reason, my brain keeps wanting to say gradient. That's not right. It's basically where you need to be only on one edge. So like you want to create it so it looks like it goes up at an angle. This is the other thing you can do for that, is by just going in one loop or the other, the front loop or the back loop. That will it'll make it thinner basically. It goes up. I wish I could remember the word right now. I don't know why, but my brain is not. But see what happens is you're creating a ridge on this side. All right. So we're going to do our standing crochet by looping it around and holding on to it, going through. I'm just going through both of them for this first one. It's a lot easier. Pulling through two, pulling through two more. All right, now we're going to go through our back loop. Why, you ask? Because we've started creating our ridge on the opposite side. So we're going to yarn over. Now this time, instead of going through this front one, we're going to hook right through the middle of that V and go through the back loop. So let's do that going all the way across. So right through the middle of the V, go through the back loop. All right, just going along. I'm pretty proud of myself, actually. I just started going back to the gym this week. I have not been wearing a mask at the gym, but there aren't very many people there, and they do have social distancing enforced by blocking off machines so that you have to keep your distance from people. And I mean, and also I don't have to touch or talk to anybody really. So I'm not feeling too terribly, I wipe down my machine before I use it. I wipe down my machine after I use it. Yeah, so I'm not too worried about it. Crixana says, how did people discover all of these crocheting techniques? That's a really good question. I don't know. Like there's, there's weaving, which creates some similarities. There are some similarities with weaving for crocheting and knitting. Probably after the first stitch, whatever the first stitch was, it was just experimentation beyond that. Like, oh, I wonder if I add one more, what that's going to do, and it became generational knowledge where, maybe a grandmother, so my grandmother taught me to crochet when I was 11. So that was my first experience with crochet. So I think one person probably figured something out. It became generational knowledge. And also crocheting and knitting are very social. So weaving is too, actually. It's very social. So, people taught each other everything and then they passed that on to people. And so it just became known like that. That's a really good question, though. I don't know exactly where it came from in the first place. It was probably just a lot of experimentation. Somebody wanted to do something like knitting, like weaving, but not, just be able to use their hands. Okay, this last stitch, I'm not liking how it's looking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually crochet into both on the very last stitch. That is the standing crochet. Probably because standing crochets are a little bit looser. So for stability, I'm going to go through both, which is fine because I'm starting with both. So that's just going to give it a little bit more stability on the edges. So now what you have is you should start to have ridges. And you can see that this is creating a ridge. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the back loop again. All right. So we're going to do a standing double crochet, hooking it, looping it around, going through that hole and pulling it through. Pulling through both, pulling through both. All right, I'm going to continue going in the back loop. So now what I'm doing is I'm creating a new pattern. Now I'm going to do back loop on this row and front loop on the other row, and that's going to create a ridge on the other side. Okay, so let's go. Back loop. All the way across. Oops. Now you'll notice that when you're crocheting like into your back loop, it does start to lean a little bit, which means that you have to like really kind of dig a little bit sometimes to get the loops. That's okay. That's what we want it to do. So it's doing what we want. It just makes it not as fast. So I'm only going into the back loop right now. I just came from doing a row of back loops and I'm continuing with another row of back loops. Oops. Now, if we continued this all the way for a while, we would have a really interesting pattern. I just want you to see the beginning of the pattern first. So still going into back loops. All right, and remember this last one, for stability, I'm going to go through both. Oops, and I still only hooked the back loop, see? All right. All right, I'm gonna do my standing double crochet by pulling it up a little bit, putting my thumb on there and twirling all I'm doing is just twirling it around itself so that it creates what looks like a second loop. Go through the hole, that very first one, and hook some yarn. All right, there we go. Once you get the first one, the first two down, it's good. All right, now we're gonna go through our front loop because we just went through our back loop. So front loop only. And you can play around with this. You could do like front loop and then both. Front loop and both. Front loop and then both, you know, or front loop, then back loop, then front loop, then back loop. You could play around, you know, do 2 front loops, then 2 back loops and see what you get. You're just going to basically be creating little ridges, so you should get a cool pattern. But I encourage you to play around with this and see what interesting things you can make with it. Patterns are fun. For the scarf, I did front loops all the way through. That's good. Then probably what you did is you just got very thin ridges is what you would have gotten. This, by doing it back loop first and then front loop, or vice versa, front loop and then back loop when you turn it, it's just going to make your ridges thicker is all it is. So you probably got very thin ridges going across. That's great though. You made your own pattern without even knowing it. I think that's fantastic. All right, so I'm getting to my last one, and I'm going to go through both rather than just the, oh, look at this. So this happens from time to time. You get, I'm just going to snip this. So what happens is that when they spin the yarn, it would be too expensive for them to restart. I'm trying to be careful about it. So what they do is they just knot it to itself and keep going. This isn't terrible in crochet. Usually it hides it. However, it is terrible in weaving. It is no bueno in weaving because little knots, especially in it's not as bad in your weft, which is what's going horizontally. Your weft goes this way. Your, sorry, my brain is, your warp goes vertically. So your warp is like what's actually on the loom, and your weft is what goes in and out of the warp, right? So when you're weaving, your warp actually pulls through little tiny things called heddles, these little tiny holes. You don't want any knots. Like, you do not want this seems small, but when it's trying to pull through a little tiny metal heddle, not cool. So, yeah, it's not good to have these in your weaving yarn, but it happens quite often. Because, the companies aren't going to stop and unwind and wind a new one, They're just going to keep going. Especially when they're doing thousands of yards. Your yarn has a ton of these in a row, and they keep getting caught with the skein, so you had trouble pulling out the yarn. Yeah. Well, now those might have just been knots in... It might not have been where they were... it might not have been where they were connecting new yarn. It could have just been where it had gotten tangled. That's entirely possible, because that happens too, where it gets tangled and it's hard to you end up having where like not. Okay, so let's take a look at what we've got. So on this side, you'll notice, so this was all regular crochet down here. On this side, we've got a ridge here. You can see, created a ridge. And then it's going to have a part that looks kind of flat, but see, it still has like a cool pattern there. On the other side, look at that ridge. That ridge that's created. Like, you end up getting these really cool patterns. So ridge, ridge. And what'll happen, so this is the ridge there. This is the ridge on the other side. So it's going to keep going back and forth like this. And you'll keep getting interesting ridges. So that's how you do that. All right, let's go ahead and we're going to do a standing crochet. We're going to do posts. All right, so let's do our standing crochet. Go through the hole, pull through the first 2 loops, and then you should be left with 2 more on there. Pull through the next 2. All right, when it says for you to go through the post, so we're going to do front post first. What you're going to do, you're going to spread it apart a little bit. You're going to actually go under the post, yarn over and pull through. Now this is going to shorten it a little bit, but it's going to create a really major ridge. All right, so and then you do your double crochet like normal. So we're going to go under the post. This is just front post. So it would say FP, front post. So you've got FL and BL, that's front loop and back loop, and then FP and BP, which are front post and back post. So here's my next one. So yarn over like normal, go under the post, yarn over and pull through, and then finish your double crochet like normal. Now because this is going lower, then your last crochet stitch, then it's going to shorten it. So sometimes what you'll see is like a triple crochet or a treble. Like they'll have you do a bigger crochet. Wait till you see what this creates. This is a mamba jumba ridge. But it's very cool. So we're just going right under that post. So instead of going through the top, we're just going right under it. And then crocheting like normal. We're just pretending like that's our new hole. All right, almost all the way across. Now I'm going to do a regular crochet when I get to the last one. So I've got a few more posts left. Your pattern will tell you to do different things. So I'm going to actually, in this last one, I'm going to do just a regular double crochet. I'm going to go through both loops. Sorry, I had trouble finishing that thought there. This is very janky yarn. All right. Look what this did. Oh man. Somebody went live. I forgot to mute my phone. Sorry, guys. Okay. One of those was me. It was telling me that I went live just now. You know, 40 minutes later. All right, look what this did. Look how big that ridge is. Okay, now we are going to go into the back loop. But here's the thing, is we don't have much of a loop to go into, so I would do a regular row of double crochet. All right, so we're going to, the back loop's going to create a ridge on the other side. So we'll do our standing crochet. Just for practice, you can continue, if you don't like the standing crochet, you can continue doing the chain 3. That's not a problem. So we're going to do a row of just regular double crochet. We're going to give ourselves some good posts to go through. Because it's very difficult to go through the posts you just created because they're so short. I'm very excited now because in the next few weeks, I'm going to start showing you guys some interesting stitches. So we're going to do like a bobble stitch first, which is cool. That creates like really interesting texture. There's going to be a lot of textures. So we're going to do the crocodile stitch, which looks like it looks like scales. It's very cool. Well, but we're going to be doing some interesting stitches for the rest of June. I think next week is the bobble stitch. I'm pretty sure it is. So I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm just doing regular double crochet through both loops just to get a nice stitch going across. Now, standard would be to go through the front loop again. I mean the front post. But we're going to go through the back post. Mostly because I just want to teach it to you. All right. So we went across. So now you can see that ridge is like really sticking up. Look how high that. Look at that. That is nice. There's a nice ridge. So this creates interesting texture. This is like a lot of texture. All right, so I'm gonna do another standing. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do a chain 3 so you can see what these look like next to each other. So I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3, and turn. All right, so now we're going to do our back post. So what you're gonna do, it's exactly what you think it is. You're gonna come, instead of the front post, going through the front, you're going to turn it and go through the back. Oop, I didn't catch it. Pull it through. Ah, I'm having trouble catching it. And then crochet. Guys, I'm struggling here. Okay. Go through, pull it through. There we go. All right. So we're going through our back post. Now, what I like to do is I like to just lay it down and just go flat like this. It's a lot easier. So I'm going to go through my next one. Let's go under. But you're working across the back of it. Flux, hey! Welcome. We are learning how to make ridges in our crochet today. We are making texture. So this is a lot like cabling and knitting. Ah, another tree. Very nice. Do like a tree of life and have like stuff hidden throughout it, like different little creatures or something hidden throughout it. I don't know. Maybe that's not your style. Or you could do robots hidden throughout it. AI is life. Isn't that right, Alexa? That's right. She didn't answer me. It could be in future. Ah, all right. Oh, it's half done. I see. So maybe in another one. Well, I can't wait to see it. I know you're going to upload it. So that's another thing, guys. You know, Flux here is a fantastic artist. He does a lot of drawings and illustrations. And he posts his stuff at this Discord channel, so you could see his work if you wanted to. If for some reason, so if you don't want to have to type this in, there's a couple things you can do. You can, in my chat, type !Discord and it will bring up the link. Or somewhere on my site, there's an About page, and that About page has a button that says Discord. And if you click on that button, it'll take you right to it. All right, so I'm not going to go into this last post. I'm just going to do a regular crochet. Now this did something funky. Wait till you see. Oh yeah, my work too. Not as much of my work though. I need to start posting some of my actual artwork. I haven't really posted very much there. So this did something fun. I want you guys to see. It actually created a little pocket. So you could actually crochet around this and continue making a pocket if you want. If you don't, you can just crochet into the top here, and it's just going to have this ridge on this side. So you've got this ridge and this ridge. But when you crochet into the back, it actually creates a little pocket. I know I should. I know. You guys would probably like my artwork too, because I do a lot of conceptual stuff. Like you can kind of see some of my artwork on my wall here. This is a weaving that I did. And it's huge though. Like it's really big. I don't really have a lot of my artwork up in here, but yeah, I'll post some of my stuff. I should be doing that anyway. It's good for morale. Okay, so if we wanted to continue doing this pattern, then what we're going to do is you're going to take this back part here, not this part, but the back part. We're going to do our I'm going to go ahead and do my chain 3 so you can see what that looks like. And then I'm going to just do regular crochets going across. So remember, when you chain 3, you skip that first one. A lot of my drawings and stuff are pretty realistic. My prints too. What I'm really proud of is my prints. And you can go to my website too and see a lot of my stuff. But I love printing. You had a nice break away in a town, staying with relatives. You actually went in a car, first time since lockdown, and touched other people. Also, not touched anyone since lockdown. Oh, wow. Get that oxytocin flowing. That was probably nice. Did you give any hugs? Those are the best. Especially when you haven't had a hug in a while. It feels great. I'm really glad. I'm glad you got to go in a car, but I'm especially glad you got to touch people again. It kind of is the worst. We need that human contact, human to human contact. It does help if you have like a kitten or something like that. It's pretty helpful. I'm pretty excited. I'm actually going to have to cancel at the end of this month. I have to cancel my regular art streams. My crochet stream will still be a go that week. But that weekend, I'm going to be going to, it's the 25th, 26th, 27th, and 28th on my calendar. So my normal times would be the 26th and the 27th are my normal streaming days. And so I won't be streaming my drawing or painting classes those days because my sister is fostering kittens. And so I'm going to take care of them. They are going on vacation and can't take the kittens with them. They're fostering 2 kittens. Plus, they have a brand new kitten they adopted. Plus, they have their cat that already lived with them. So 4 cats. 3 of them are baby kittens. I get to be around baby kittens all weekend. I might have to do a just chatting kitten stream, you know, so you guys can meet the kittens because they are all very cute. She sent me lots of pictures of them playing, so we might have to have a kitten stream. It'll probably happen. Crixano says, oh no, wait, hold on. Actually, no, this is Flux. We played board games and ate cake, and you were cooked for. Nice. And you explored the town. Always great to have a nice home-cooked meal. Crixano says, I don't do a lot of art. I compose some music, and I used to do painting more a while ago, but yeah. Flux said, oh, the town was Brill? Is that what you mean? And you hung out by a river in a castle. Oh, nice. I'd like to be like, hey, I'm going down to the castle by the river. That's what I'm doing this week. That would be fantastic to say that. It's pretty cool. But no hugs, huh? Well, it's okay. At least you got to touch people. And Crixano, you need to get into your painting again. I know you've been doing my classes, so that's great. I just want to show you guys the difference in what this looks like. Oh, well then. Several castles. Very nice. Okay, so if you look at this, I'm going to hold this up close. So here's where I did that chain 3. This is where I didn't. So see how much thicker it is. Like here, it's not very thick. It's actually quite thin. Here it's thicker. Let's see, look at the other side and see if you can see it. So see, this is the chain 3 right here. This is where it's thicker. So the chain 3 just makes it so it's not, it has like a sturdier look when you do it this way. So it's really just up to you, whichever way you want to do it. But now we've got a ridge on this side. So we've got a ridge on this side and a ridge on this side. And we could keep going like that. We could keep going back and forth like that. If we just did, if we only did front loops, then what would have happened is we would have had a ridge, then another ridge. We would just continue having these ridges. So that is another option you have. So these are like kind of small ridges here. They create very small ridges. These going, so that's going through the loops, front loop or back loop. This is where you create very large ridges. And remember, if you do front loop, front loop, front loop, front loop, front loop, and then you turn it, if you want to stay with that pattern, you're going to now go back loop, back loop, back loop, because it's crocheting on the opposite side. So it's crocheting on the front here, and then you're still crocheting on the front here, but it's the front from the other side, so the back, basically. So you just reverse it. So that's it. There you have it. Look at all these ridges. Ruffles have ridges, and so does crochet. Flex said, including big manor houses, we have more than 10 in a 40-mile radius and about 5 to 8 abbeys. Oh my goodness. Wow. That is, well, I mean, I guess it's England, right? You know, so you would expect there to be lots of castles and manor houses and, I don't know, all of the fancy things. That's what I think of when I think of like English countryside. So yeah, and abbeys. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, there would be a lot of abbeys, right? Because every little town or parish has like a church, you know. That's really interesting. So Crixano says, I used to do 3D drawing with red and cyan markers and the red and cyan 3D glasses a long time ago. Ooh, that's cool. I've never tried to do that. I've never done, that would be awesome. Like, I wonder if you just take the two markers together and draw everything, you know, together. And then that way, when you look at it, it combines the two of them. Is that how you do it? Like where you hold the two pins together? And I would just tape them together and make it a lot easier. Tape them together and then do your drawing. Is that how you do it? Or, I don't know. Because I would think you would want all of your lines to be the same. Yeah, that's one way. Well, what's another way you did it? That's pretty cool. You need to share some of those if you have some of those drawings. I would love to see that. I don't have 3D glasses, but I can figure that one out. The other was just doing each color separately. Okay, well that makes sense. Yeah. Does anybody have any questions? Mostly Crixano, because I think you're the one that's following here. But do you have any questions about front post and back post or front loop and back loop? Ooh, that'd be cool to have a 3D tree. That would be nice. That could be the tree that has all your robots and stuff in it. I want to make a magic eye thing. Like, that's what I want to do. All right, so what did we learn in this stream? We learned how to do a no chain foundation. So just your crochet going across. We learned how to do front loop and back loop. We learned how to do front post and back post. And that's it. And with the front post and back post, you can actually do, like, let me just show you. Remember we had the two. Oh, I don't know why I undid that. I did not need to undo that. Well, it's okay. It's done now. One, two, three. So what you can do is you can actually crochet into that ridge there. Wait, I don't think I'm doing that right. Hold on. Hold on. I think I shouldn't have deleted this. I deleted too early. And I can't redo. There's no redo button. Undo is a lot quicker than redo. Redo, you just have to manually do it. So I'm going to go across and manually do this. And then I'm going to show you what you could have done if you had just continued. So don't undo yours. Okay, Crixano says, okay, no questions. There are also, there's also a thing you make slightly different perspective images side by side and cross your eyes. It turns 3D. Oh, that's cool. That's like what some VR headsets that hold your phone use. Oh, yeah. I've used one of those, the like Google Cardboard. I have used that. It was actually pretty cool. We did a couple of, I did a couple of classes when I was homeschooling using Google Cardboard. Because, I mean, all you had to do was write Google and they'd send it to you. You don't need a headset for it. You just cross your eyes the right amount. Yeah, that's kind of like the way Magic Eye is. So I belong to a subreddit, Magic Eye. And I like to try to see those. I can see them online. At first I thought I wasn't going to be able to see it on a computer screen, but I can. It does take a little bit longer, though, than seeing it in print. The print Magic Eye is the bomb. Okay, so I'm at the end here. So redo, I hit redo, and this is as fast as it goes. All right, so now I'm going to actually go into, so I've got this going across, right? So I'm going to crochet. I'm just going to keep going around. Crochet in that very first stitch that got created. And you just crochet across in the ridge, because the ridge created little crochets, little stitches. So check this out. Watch what happens. You can really do fun things with this. I wasn't ready to end the stream yet. That's why I undid it. It was subconsciously because I didn't want to end the stream. Because Flux just got here. I can't end it yet. All right. I'm trying to think about what artwork I want to share first. Do I want to share my fiber arts? I feel like I should be sharing my drawings and paintings. I don't have all that many paintings because I did oil painting, and oil painting just takes a lot longer, so I don't have as many. And I really didn't get into acrylic painting that much, so. Okay, so the key is finding this last one, which we really don't have because remember I did the regular crochet. So I'm just kind of making it up. You said that's fine by you. You'd watch mine and Schwa's stream 24/7 if you could. That's so sweet, Crixano. Thank you. That's very sweet. All right, so now I'm going to crochet, I'm coming back around. So now I'm crocheting 2 rows, right? You have some canvases, but you're always afraid to use them because you don't want to completely mess up. Well, I mean, you know, you could do my streams, because in that way, if you mess up, it's on me, not on you, right? I think that my streams are easy enough to follow, though, where you wouldn't have to worry about that. Like, I think you'd be fine. I think you would follow along fine. Your drawings certainly are good. So I would imagine painting is just drawing with paint, in my opinion. Messing up is part of life. That's true. Good point, Flux. I agree. And you can't learn unless you mess up, right? I mean, if you do it right, you can assume that what you did was correct, but that's about it, right? You don't know until you mess up. Hey, this is definitely one way I cannot do it. Falsification is always a great thing. That's the whole scientific method, right? You're trying to falsify. You're trying to replicate something and seeing if you can falsify it. And I think that if something is not falsifiable, it's not really true, right? It has to be able to be falsified. All right, so I'm coming around to the other side. And now you can just kind of start crocheting in the round. It's really interesting. Messing up can also completely ruin your life and your reputation. Well, yes. I mean, it depends on the kind of messing up, I guess. But, I mean, I've messed up plenty. You know, I've messed up plenty in my life. Big mess ups. Like, huge. My reputation, 100%. Relationships, 100%. You know, like I've done some pretty big mess ups. And I think a lot of people have. I'm not alone. You know, the thing is, though, is that you bounce back and you learn from it, right? That's the key. You need to be able to learn from it. And yes, this day and age is a little bit different. You know, you get canceled. People take you out, like they take active steps to make sure that your reputation is ruined and make sure that your life is ruined. And I think that's a really terrible trend. I can't imagine hurting another human, and I don't know how people can do it, even if it's someone you don't like. I feel like there is absolutely 100% no reason why you would ever want to hurt another human unless they are actively hurting you, and it's only in self-defense at that point. I just don't get it. But, okay. I'm going to stop now because I'm going to show you what I've been doing. Look at that, I got a little pocket. So now I'm doing double-sided crochet. So I've got a little pocket. So what I could do then is I could, let's see. So I could skip one and go around and then slip stitch on this side and then go around and then start another one. And then what would happen is I'd have like a little, it would continue on one side, but on this side it would have like a pause and then continue again. And so you'd have like a little hole that you could open up and get like a, you know, like a little pocket for something. There's all kinds of things you can do. Look at that. Look at that. So cool. I love this. I love it so much. And I just made this up. I mean, you know, like this is called freestyle crochet when you just start crocheting and doing things. You can let's say I wanted to make a little arm here. I'm just teaching you guys things now. You have no reputation, so you care not. Nice flex. Based. I like it. Based flex. All right. So if you wanted to come out a little bit more, so watch this. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. I am going to do a standing crochet. Go into this first one. Pull back through. Oops. I do have a reputation, but you know, the thing is my reputation is most important with my friends. So as long as I'm cool with them, I'm good. Okay, so I'm going to go into that next chain that I did. Go into the next chain that I did. Remember, I did 4, so this is number 3. Based means that you are doing something without a care of what the norms are. So like there's norms for everything, right? You know, and like you do something and you're not concerned about the fact that you're not following the norms. And, you know, I try to be as based as possible. Okay, so I did this. Now I'm going to start crocheting into my normal thing. Watch what just happened. So all I did was chain stitch, and then I did a standing crochet, a standing double crochet, and then I just started double crocheting into my chain stitch. And look, I now have a little arm that came out. See, I just did that. That's called freeform. That's it. That is literally it. Okay, now if you want to do that on the other side, you're like, well, I did it on this side, but I need it to be the same level, right? So let's go on the other side and I'll show you what to do. You guys are learning stuff that was not planned. I'm just making this up as I go. No lesson plans here. I reserve my lesson plans for my drawing and painting classes, and even then I go off script a lot. You know? I'm not that worried about the norm. That's key. So like society has a way they like to do things, and you can choose to not do it that way. It's not always the best option. Sometimes just doing it the way society does it is fine. But if you don't agree, and fundamentally you think it would hurt you more to do it, then do it your own way, man. Don't just do what everybody tells you to do. Not worth it. Loosey Goosey, that's me. Lucy Goski, that's me. Goski's my last name, in case anybody didn't notice from Goski Design. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. So I'm at the end here, and I want to do another thing of 4 on this side, right? So what I'm going to do is go into this bottom loop. And remember what we did at the beginning? Check it out. We're going to go through 1, then go through and do our regular double crochet. Go through that bottom loop. Go through 1, and then do our regular double crochet. I'm going to do this 4 times. Go through the bottom loop. Go through 1. So we're creating that base. Regular double crochet, last one. And now I have arms on both sides. Look at that, y'all. See? I love freeform crochet. It's so much fun. So, you know, now I could make like a little purse or something if I wanted. I'm just going to chain. I actually kind of like the way the chain looks. 2, 3. I don't think it's that much more difficult. than doing a standing crochet. Leprechaun jumper. I don't know what that is. Oh, this is a leprechaun jumper. Yes, it is. Look. Look at this. That's hilarious. It does. It's a little jumper. Okay. Now, so what I'm going to do, so I'm going to It's a good point, Crixano. How do we get back? Let me think about this. No, we won't slip stitch back. I need to get this side going. Let me think about this. This is the problem with freeform, is that sometimes you got to figure out what you got to do next. Okay. Oh, yes. Good call. Okay. So let's say we want our arms to just be these little things. I got to take my... I see what you mean. So like if you wanted, you are 100% correct about slip stitching. So let's say we just want these arms to look just like this and we're not adding any more to them. Like if we wanted to continue up from here, we could. But let's say we don't want to add any more to these, then we slip stitch. So you're going to go in the first one, pull through both loops. Go in the second one, pull through both loops. We're not doing any crochet. Third, oops, almost did a crochet. Pull through both loops. Fourth, pull through both loops. And it looks like I maybe have an extra one here. I might have actually done it in 5 by accident. All right, then when you get to this one, now you can do your chain. 1, 2, 3. And go in. Good call, Crixano. Good call. Now the other side, you just stop wherever you want to stop. And that's it. You just like leave it there. So we'll do that. We'll get to the other side and I'll show you. Yep. Well, see, I'm glad it makes sense, but it does. It does. You just slip stitch whenever you don't want to add any height. It adds a very tiny bit, but not enough for it to be noticeable in the grand scheme of things. So we're going to go all the way across. I was thinking when you said slip stitch, I thought you meant, because I had talked about slip stitching on the other side, which was that open hole there. Because you can do that, and I'll show you that in later, I will show you that in later episodes, later streams. I'll show you about making things like holes. In fact, maybe I'll do holes next week instead of treble. I was going to teach you treble, but I think I'll do holes next week. Okay, so I'm going to end. This will be my last one. So instead of continuing all the way to the end, I just turn and start there. You know, do my chain 3, 1, 2, 3. I think that for me, I prefer chain 3 over over the standing crochet. Although when I'm doing filet crochet, if you guys remember several weeks back, we did the filet, where I did the letter S in it. I do like to do standing crochet instead of chain stitches on the outside. So what I would probably do for this is go ahead and make continue crocheting up just on one side, How would you make a corner? What do you mean? What do you mean by how would you make a corner? Like, well, let me think about this. Man, you guys are getting so much bonus material today. You didn't even know how lucky you were when you logged onto my stream today. You didn't realize you were going to be getting bonus material. I taught you standing crochet. I taught you how to do some freeform. Freeform crochet really is one of my favorite because you can just go crazy with it. So here we go, continuing up. So see, we've got our two little arms there. So what I'm thinking of doing is going up a couple more, since we've got this pocket here. Yes, I love that you like to hang out with us, Flux, because I know that you're doing your own art and stuff. I appreciate it. You can add more onto the grooves, whatever you call them, from the stuff we did in the beginning. Oh, you mean like these? Yeah, you could. Yeah, you could totally add on to these. You could bring in different colors, if that's what you're talking about. Well, good. I'm glad. I'm glad that my stream is motivating you. My streams motivate me too. This is the most crocheting I've gotten done in years. I mean, I do crochet here and there for like specific projects, but let me tell you, I am bad about like starting a project and then just letting it sit around. So wait till we get to Amigurumi, you guys. You guys, I love Amigurumi. Be prepared. We are going to make some really cute things. Amigurumi is really fun crochet. It's where you can make little animals. You could make like, I have the pattern for a little BB-8. You can make, I mean, anything, really. You can make anything. I started making a cat for my nephew, and all I have is the head. So maybe I will continue. I did make, I think I showed you guys Louie the Lobster on my very first stream. I think I showed you that. That was Amigurumi. So I'll bring him in again. I like Louie a lot. You do that all the time. You start a ton of projects and never finish them. I do that with books too. Yes, I do need to finish the cat. I do need to finish the cat. It's a very cute cat. All right, let's see where we are. I'm almost done with this row. We're going to see where we are. So if I were to fold this over, I need to do one more row. You do it with books and movies. I do finish movies. I will say I do finish movies. I don't stop movies in the middle. That is the completionist in me. So like I can't stop movies or games. In fact, like I have a game that I've been working on. I'm playtesting a game, and I really like it, but I just have gotten kind of sidetracked by things. Sea of Thieves. I got sidetracked by Sea of Thieves. I'm not gonna lie. But I need to get back into playtesting this game because I'm supposed to be like I'm recording my gameplay for the developer. But I mean, I want to play it. I'm a completionist. It's been driving me nuts that I haven't been finishing it. So I need to just make some time and do it, you know? I've started 10 books right now. Oh my goodness. I don't generally start books unless I'm intending on finishing them, because it will drive me crazy to not be able to finish it. So what ends up happening is I have all these projects and they just sit in the back of my head. I just know they need to be finished. So what I started doing recently is, and when I say recently, like in the last couple years, if I come across a project that I meant to do, then and I had started it, then I make myself finish it. I cannot start a new project until I finish that project. And it works. And I finish things and I feel good about it. That's the main part, is that you feel good because you're like, yeah, it's finally off my plate and out of the back of my head. Like, I actually even just went through and made a list of all the crochet projects I had started and not finished. Got that Amazon filet crochet that I started. I need to finish that too. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. You do watch some dodgy crap horrors and crap sci-fi. Some are bad, so you just turn them off. I will say that there's been a couple of movies that I thought were so bad I just could not finish watching them. So yeah, there's been a couple of those. You finish all graphic novels and comics more than books. Understandable. All right, so here's what we're going to do. So I want to make, I'm going to fold this over and I'm going to crochet right actually, hold on. I'm going to crochet right into the side here. Let me show you. So I'm going right into the side, like on the other side of this little fun arm, the leprechaun jumper arm, and slip stitch. Okay, now I'm going to slip stitch across here from this ridge that I started, that I left off. So I'm going to slip stitch all the way across. So remember, slip stitch that goes through. You just pull through both holes. You don't make any new stitches. All right. So I'm going across. I really am making this up as I go, y'all. I just want you to know. You eventually finish stuff. It might take a couple of years. Sometimes mine take decades. I've had projects that were really old. This is what happens as the older you get, the longer you've got projects going. It happens. Oops. Last book you finished was American Gods. Oh, that's a good book, though. American Gods is a really good one. I'm a huge Neil Gaiman fan. Huge. I haven't actually read a Neil Gaiman book I didn't love. So, there's that. When you're in a reading mood, you can read 5 books in a row 24/7 without doing anything else. Oh, wow. So, Crixano, it sounds like you just go all in. Like, you either half-ass it or all in. There is no in between. There's no, like, just finishing a project. But you've been doing a lot of work on Yond, though, right? Which you've got to change that name. All right, so I got to this other side. Slip stitch. Now, I'm going to stitch. I'm going to slip stitch. I'm going through the side. Remember that little arm right there? And I'm going to slip stitch right into the top here. You've got to kind of bring your yarn around because it's all hooked in. All right, now we're going to go up the side here. And I'm just kind of making this up, I'm telling you. This is how it happens. You just make it up as you go. So we'll see what this looks like. Hopefully not terrible. I'm slip stitching. You're halfway through the Mists of Avalon. Oh, I have that. I need to read that. Okay. So I didn't do this side, so there's like a hole in this side, and I could have gone and slip stitch in that, but I'm just doing this, I'm just playing around at this point. So this is my leprechaun jumper. Or sweater, as we would say here, like pullover, as we'd say here in the US. All right. So now I have this little pocket here. So I've got, this is so janky looking, but it's okay. I've got this little pocket. You can do things. And you can, hello everybody. I'm a weirdo. I know. It's okay. It's why you guys love me. Right? All right. So I'm just going to weave this end in real quick. So now I have a leprechaun jumper puppet that I made. And if I really wanted to get creative, I could give him a couple of eyes, which I do have. Maybe make him like a frog or something. Maybe he's a frog who's changed sex. He's a trans frog. That does happen, you know. All right. IRL, that does happen. Frogs can change gender. Okay. So now, and this one I'm not even going to worry about weaving in. Just for whatever. All right. So you said you actually started working on a new project and you're going to be starting another new project. A lot of new projects, huh? Ginger Bill said you can mirror his Odin Lang website to Gemini. Oh, that's cool. Well, that's nice of him. Sounds very generous. So, okay. So I've got this. I made some little arms. I just kind of, so remember I've got this side here. I probably would want to go in and stitch that up so that there's no holes there. And then you have a little pocket. I could put a couple eyes right here and he'd be a little monster. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. All right, y'all. I think once Sarah starts making frog sounds, it's probably the end of the stream. So, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. We learned chainless foundation. We learned front loop, back loop. We learned front post, back post. We learned how to add stitches on the side, how to do free form and add stitches on the side. I showed you how to fold over and make like a little lid there. So you just learned a lot of things. It looks a lot better from this side. I'm not gonna lie. It's a little janky over here. I think because I just like started, when I started freeforming, I think I added some stitches on. That happens. You need to count. It's important to count stitches. Okay, so Flux said, I learned from the factual documentary Jurassic Park. Let's see. I have watched Walking with Dinosaurs, which was really good. But yeah, Jurassic Park I don't think is factual. So I don't know if you should be learning from that. So let's see. And then Crixano says, you also want to mirror Handmade Network, but haven't asked for permission for that yet. So we'll see. Oh, yeah. You definitely want to ask permission, and find out. Talk to Ryan or Ben or somebody. Okay. Thanks for the stream. A joke about the frogs changing sex. I don't think it is. I think they can. They're not. The joke is that they're gay, but they're not. They can actually change sex. I think that lizards can do that too. So I think it may be a reptile and an amphibian thing. I'm not entirely sure how it works, but anyway, yes. Thanks for the stream. I will look that up, and so next stream I will try to tell you more factual information about that. But anyway, oh, there might have been a humor mix-up. That is entirely possible. Okay, bye guys. Thanks for joining me, and hope to see you on Friday.